Stuff that's been done to this bike was done at the Harley Davidson dealer prior to me picking up the bike. I originally planned on starting this channel with a 2016 Harley Davidson Roadster, and then this opportunity popped up and I got this bike, but I still have some video on that Roadster that when I get around to editing, I think I'm going to post for you guys that are still rocking sporties. Honestly, I wish I could have swung hanging on to both of them, but it just didn't make sense at the time of the deal. So with that said, let's start at the front end of the bike. This is the JD Customs and Fabrication fairing, FXRT style, both the upper and lowers. When I originally wanted to put it on, I was just going to put the uppers on and hang on to the lowers, but one day I stopped by the shop and they had it mocked up prior to paint, and I really liked the way it looked, so I just told them to leave them on. Super happy with this fairing. Of course, the 2-in-1 Two Brothers exhaust and the Harley Davidson tuner. I chose not to swap out the air filter because they told me it's a high flow air filter. I don't know if that's the case or not. If it is, let me know in the description below. Also, when I received the bike, I slapped on the Saddleman seat, but other than that, they got the 12-inch cross riser bars on it. This is running the regular handlebars that are stock with the risers. I'm happy with that setup. I don't think I'm going to change it. And that's about it. So with that said, let's get into these hard bags and the installation process. Alright, so first and foremost, I guess I should mention that on the Lowrider S, you have to move the signal indicators in order to install the bags. If you don't, they'll interfere with the installation process and how you run them. So these are the bags right here. They are Viking painted hard bags. I forget exactly what they're called, but I'll put a link in the description to these exact bags. These are the bigger ones. There are like 5 options to choose from. They come packaged like this, so they're pretty well packaged. The cardboard they use on the box is really thick, and then it comes in this little satchel, and the inside of it's super soft, I'm assuming for the paint, and then they bubble wrap it. So I've already looked at both bags. They both look fine. I just kind of wanted to show you what they look like when they showed up. One thing I was happy to find is on the inside of the bags, if I can open this, they actually include a little bag for you, and I wasn't expecting that on both bags, so that's kind of nice. And then the inside is like lined with this leather. It does super smell like glue right now, I'm assuming from gluing that in, so when I get them on, I'm probably going to leave them open for a couple days, let them air out. The locks aren't premium by any stretch of the imagination, but I have this feeling if there's ever anything wrong with them, I can easily replace them, but they seem to be all right for now. It does come with this indicator, what's it called, relocation kit, so that's going to be nice. We'll see how that turns out. If I don't like it later, I'll switch out my indicators to something else. And then the mounting hardware. They also do offer a quick disconnect mounting system. I chose not to do that because, knowing me, I'm probably just going to put them on the bike and leave them. I don't plan on removing them. But if you're the type of rider that likes to remove your bags, then that is an option. I think they're somewhere around $100. I don't know for sure. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a minute and explain the removal of the turn indicators. So you got your 2 bolts right here. You need to undo those on both sides because there's a 3rd bolt on the back right here. And if you want to avoid taking that off and removing the entire fender, do both sides at the same time and then just move the fender up so that you can get to the back of these. There's a bolt right here to get the turn signal indicator off. So that one's off already. And then you just follow your wire all the way right here. And what I did on the other wire is I went back about this far and I cut it, because after we move these turn signal indicators onto the new bracket, we're gonna have to extend this, so we're gonna have to solder in a piece. But I still wanted to have my quick connection, so I'll just do that. We'll do some shrink fit on there, and then we can plug it right back in, and it'll still look stock and it extends that turn signal because they're going to go from here to a bracket on the plate here, and those aren't long enough. Okay, quick tip on the signal light relocation kit. This is how it's supposed to run. They've got it set up without the piece that was originally on the bike, but I think that that'll actually look better with that piece on it, because then I can just shoot the wire down and over. But if you don't do that, you have this gap right here where the wire is showing, and you could use like some automotive wire cover stuff. I forget what that's called. In a sec, I got some. Use some protective wire wrap. I'm gonna do that anyway on the bottom side, but now I don't have to do it right there where it's super visible. So the only problem is this little nub won't sit flush in that hole. So I'm just gonna drill that hole out bigger. So something to think about. Okay, now that the signal light wires have been extended and soldered and the relocation bracket holes have been drilled out a little bigger, now I'm just installing that relocation bracket onto the factory license plate bracket, and the signal lights will be attached to that relocation bracket. And you just run your wires as normal and clean them up how you see fit, and you're ready to install the bags. So let's get on to the bag installation process. Okay, I don't know how good you can see this, but what I did when I was trying to line up the holes and kind of position the bag where I wanted it on the bike is I put a piece of painter's tape, and then I tried to mark the bolts. You can tell that I did it up here first, but then when I started looking inside the bag at this latch, I was scared on the inside that this big piece might hit any potential bolt right there, because the other locking piece is right here as well. So what I did is I readjusted the bag a little so I know I wouldn't have that problem. And now this is where you drill your holes through the tape. So it's kind of hard to mark black paint. So this is a little trick I used. It's just a piece of painter's tape. All right, I ran into a pretty serious problem, and I'm going to show you this, hopefully save some of you the same issue. So these holes are fine. I'm good to go on this bag, But if you'll notice, and when I put them back to back and I put the pencil through, that's how you get your perfect marks over here. I put the holes in the same place. Here's the problem though. This latch there runs the opposite way of this latch on this bag. Let me get two hands on here so I can show you what I'm doing. So if I line these bags perfectly up together, you'll see that that latch runs to the right. That latch, well, okay, that runs to the right also on this side, but they don't run the same way, and I did not realize that until I had already put the holes in this bag. So if I use that same hole now, it's trying to come through on one of these bolts. So what I'm gonna do, there goes my bag, in order to fix this, because I don't want an extra set of holes in here, I don't want to have to run new holes, I'm gonna take this off, take my grinder, cut off this third bolt, and then I'll run my big bolt right there as well. So essentially the big bolt will also be holding this, because I'm going to leave enough metal on there to do that. So that's how I'm going to fix it. But in the effort to make sure you guys don't do the same thing, because that's a pretty easy one to make, learn through my mistake. Okay, so here it is with all 4 bolts in it on both sides. I popped them through just to see how close they were, and they're pretty much damn near on. I think it's going to be perfect when I get it on there. But this kind of just illustrates what I was talking about earlier, is that this runs this way, and on this side it runs that way. So they run away from each other instead of running in the same direction, which is what I was assuming. So just know when you're picking out your holes on your first bag, you need to make sure you check this bag to make sure it's not hitting this. So, but I'm just gonna notch that out with a grinder, and then this third hole will be held by a washer on this bad boy, and shouldn't be a big deal. So that's my fix. But now you can avoid the same issue. Okay, this is just me grinding out that corner on the bracket so I can fix my mistake on the bolt that I ran through the bag. Okay guys, so since I installed these bags, I've been running them for a couple weeks now, and I've had 0 issues with them. Super like them. For the price, I think they're probably the best deal on the market currently. If you find something else, let me know. But I mean, I got these with a discount code, and I think it was under 500 bucks by the time it was shipped to my house, which is a super good deal for 2 sets of hard bags. The one thing I do want to point out is there's 2 guys on that put out some videos with these bags bottoming out on, for example, that big bolt and other parts of the swing arm. So I'm glad that they put those videos out. Thanks guys, because I was able to avoid that issue. And had I not seen those videos, I probably might have done the same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those links to those videos in the description so you guys can avoid that issue. You can notice that these are pretty far out. At first, when I first slapped them on, it kind of bothered me, but just the peace of mind and not knowing I'm not going to bottom the bag out on something else, it's totally worth it. So one thing I'm not so sure about is this signal light relocation kit. Yeah, part of me thinks it's kind of gory the way it's set up, but at the same time, part of me feels like it fits the overall theme of the bike. So I'm not going to change them just yet, but I may change them in the future. We'll see. They're kind of already growing on me, honestly. So so the inside of the bags, the latches, honestly, they do kind of feel a little cheap, but I haven't had any problems with them so far. So it's probably a place that they could improve, but given the price, I mean, still a pretty good deal. Inside, the bags are lined in leather. When I first got them, they smelled like glue super bad, and that smell is already starting to go away, so I'm pretty happy with that. These Velcro little pockets in here, and you can put small items in. I just put the keys to the bag in there and the 4-o'clock key. So when I put something, when I'm feeling like I need to lock them, it's there, and I just lock them and put that in my pocket. The other thing I super like was that both bags came with these insert bags. And if you're carrying around a laptop and a GoPro and stuff and want to edit something, let's say at like a coffee shop, it's nice that it's all there and you can just pull it out and take it in with you. And there's 2 of those on both sides. In my install video, I was telling you about an issue I had with the bracket, and that was my fix right there. So refer back to that, but I've had no issues with that. It's completely solid, and I didn't want to put more holes in the bag, so that's what I did. I notched that out with the grinder, and ultimately that bolt holds it, and now you don't even really notice it. So that worked out, but there's another thing you can avoid. So what do I think of them? I kind of already told you. For the money, I think they're the best bags currently that you can get if you're trying to get a set of hard bags.